Welcome on this new Coach Live Academy Live Guide. I'm Corentin Guinez, and today we are here for week 7 of the Falcon Sports Car Series, and we are around Fuji with the Porsche 718 GT4. As usual, first I'm gonna go with the outlap, and then we're gonna go into more details about the car and the track. So yep, let's get started. Okay guys, so here we go for the lap with the Porsche 718 on Fuji, and here comes T1. So basically a big braking zone, just braking. I think I'm braking around the 150 on the left side. I think I'm braking maybe 1 or 2 meters after, or maybe just I'm side by side with the board and I'm starting to brake. As you can see on the brake, so big braking zone. So going fully on the brake, but as soon as I'm starting to turn in, I need to find the rotation. So basically, that's the point where I need to just release the brake and start to release the brake, find the rotation, and then I keep turning in. So as you can see, the more I'm turning in, the more I'm basically releasing the brake, because if I stay like all the way on the brake, or if I keep the same strength on the brake, basically the car will keep going straight. So that's why you need to release the brake when you go on the steering and going for the apex, because then you can get a lot of rotation by doing that. So as you can see, staying on the brake, and then just before going past the bollard, I'm just going back on power because I need to find the rotation, and also because as you can see, the track is going downhill, so the fact that I'm going on power will help even more the car to rotate. So basically that's why you need to go really early on power, and also you can go quite strong on power because the car remains pretty stable, I would say, and because it's not really tight on the exit, so you can still open the steering pretty quickly, I would say. As you can see, just opening the steering from now. So then basically doing it once again, releasing the brake, then very early on power, and from now starting to open the steering. Need to keep a bit of steering angle, obviously, because I need to avoid the off track, which is basically when you go with the four wheels off the red and white curbing. So as you can see, just staying with at least the two right wheels on the curbing. From now going to the right, making sure I'm shortening the distance by going all the way close to the grass. And from now I need to stay on the right side, looking for the next one, which is a kind of kink, I would say, even if you need to brake on this one. Most of the time when you approach a kink, you need to just maybe lift, but this time you really need to brake. So what I'm doing for this one is that, I don't know if you can really see it, but around the fence you have that yellow board which is right there. You can see, yeah, you can see it because the camera is not just on top of it, so you can see it right there. So I think that's the point when I'm starting to go on the brake and turn in as well. So as you can see, I will try to go slow. Yeah, I mean, close to this board. It's not side by side with the board, but it's as soon as it's close to get to the right screen. For me, it's the right screen, but as soon as it's close to disappear from your center screen, there you can start to brake. As you can see, I'm already putting some input on the steering, and from now it's not necessary to go like with a huge amount of brake. I think 50 is enough. Basically, it's just about slowing down the car a little bit and also finding the rotation. Because if you go with a huge amount of brake, obviously you're gonna kill the momentum, and also because you won't find the rotation and you need to carry the speed through this one. So basically, if you have no rotation and no speed, you're gonna lose a lot of time. So as you can see, just keeping a little bit of braking, and then as soon as I'm getting close of the bollard, like pretty much like T1, I would say, when you get close of the bollard, you can go back on power and find the rotation out of the power now, and also because you need to find the momentum as well. Basically for this one, I think you can get a little bit the bollard, but just make sure you are not too greedy and get it too much, because then I think it can be a slowdown. But like this, it doesn't look really realistic actually. But like this, it's fine. You don't get any off track. So yeah, that's the way to do it. But once again, don't make sure you are not too greedy on this one, because then you can get an off track and maybe a slowdown. I'm not sure about the slowdown, but for sure you will get the off track. So as you can see, early on power, and also as soon as you leave the painted green, I would say, I don't know if it's paint or not, but as soon as you leave the painted green, just on the left side of the curbing, at that point you can go back fully on power from now. And then for the exit of this one, I would say to not use too much of the curbing, because as you can see, it's really it has like a lot of shape, I would say, which could make the car being loose, obviously, I think. So yeah, for me it's better to just use the right wheels on the right curbing for me, because I think you could go almost with all of the car using the edge of this part of the curb. But for me, then sometimes it can get loose or it can be a bit sketchy. The car could bounce sometimes. Maybe most of the time it can bounce actually with a GT4. So for me, it's better to do it like that. And also because if you go really wide, then you have to quickly steer to the right because you have that long right corner. So yeah, for me, it's better to maybe stay a bit tight, because then first it makes you a bit more comfortable with the car with maybe less bounce, and also because then you have that long right and you are already prepared for the to basically steer to the right and keep the tight line that we will see just after. So as you can see, just using the curbing, just make sure you are back on the track with at least the left wheels just before the green starts. So basically, as you can see, just going slowly, and then when the green painted is back, my left wheels are already on the at least on the white line, and maybe at least like most of the wheels are on the track on the left side of the white line, basically. So yeah, that's it for this part of the track, and now we approach this long right. So basically, the thing there is to stay as much as you can on the inside, on the really inside of the track. So what I'm doing for this one is that I'm will just stay on the throttle until I'm reaching the first exit road, which is just right there. So at that point I will just release the throttle and go on the brake, and from now I will try to use both brake and throttle to just stay as much as I can on the inside, so then I can gain most of the time. Because then if I go wide, I think maybe with a higher downforce car you can maybe do that, but for me, I already found that with the GT4, the best way to make it is actually to stay all the way on the inside. So now you just basically have to use both brake and throttle to make sure that you can stick to the inside. I'm not sure there is really a way to make to make this corner actually, like having a proper place to put throttle and proper place to put brake. Just one thing I'm doing is that I'm using the exit road to start to release the throttle. That's for sure. That's what I'm thinking when I'm going around this corner. So as you can see, releasing the throttle. And now, from now, I'm putting a bit of brake. Like at this point, if I feel that the car is getting a bit slow, obviously I will go a bit on throttle, but obviously not fully on power, because then I will get some understeer. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. If I feel that I'm going a bit too fast or too old the inside, then I will go on the brake. But then if I feel that I'm a bit too slow and I'm losing momentum, and I can still make it easily on the inside, I can go a bit on power to make sure that I'm not losing too much time, but at the same time I'm not going too fast to not have some understeer. So basically, as you can see, just staying a bit on power because I feel that I have the momentum, the car is rotating well, and I feel that I still need to carry the speed. The only thing about this long ride as well is to make sure that first you can stick all the way on the inside, and also if you make that well, you should be able to use the I don't know how this is called really, but it's sort of brakes or something, just to make sure that you can run this thing. If you manage to run this thing, I think you pretty much nailed the racing line, because at the end that's where you want to end up, just before approaching the next left one. And also because if you manage to run this thing, this means that you should be able to run quickly to the right side, so then you can make the next corner. So as you can see, just playing a bit stay still with the throttle and the brake will put a small amount of brake if I remember, but I'm not even sure it has been applied to the curb because it was really small. So as you can see, keep playing with the throttle, and from now I'm just trying to go fully on power to make sure I can carry all the rotation I can get from the throttle. And now as you can see, I will try to move all the way to the right side. Gonna look at the 50-meter board, but I think I'm actually braking a bit before that, so basically close to the yellow board like we saw before the king. So same, as soon as I'm approaching this board, going on the brake, quite difficult braking zone because it goes downhill. So at the same time, it's difficult to not go too wide because the car tends to carry a lot of speed. So if you don't brake enough, you basically gonna go wide and then lose all the momentum because you're gonna have to put a lot of steering angle, which means you're gonna have to go later on the power. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you basically brake in the way that you don't lose too much speed, because if you basically brake too early, I would say, you're gonna lose a lot of time. You will make the apex, but you're gonna lose a lot of momentum through the corner and on the at the exit. But at the same time, if you brake a bit too late, the car will carry his momentum, and then you're gonna go too wide. So the idea there is, for me, I always preferred on this one to brake a bit earlier, because for me, with the long straight that you have behind, if you compromise a lot by going too wide, you're gonna lose a lot of time on power, and then you're gonna lose all that time on the straight, which is right after. So for me, I always find a bit more comfortable to brake a bit earlier, in my opinion. So then I can make sure that I really nail the line, and then I can really focus on my exit. So for me, that's the best way to do it. So like I said, looking at the yellow board on the right side, going on the brake, I would say around 60%. Dropping to second, just making sure that I can get close of the curbing. So actually running on the curbing. Best for me is to avoid. I never really took that sausage, but I think it's not very good because it can make the car bounce. And in my opinion, you are already on power, as you can see. So if you have that much steering input and putting that throttle input as well, by going on the sausage, for me it's not gonna end really well, in my opinion. So that's why I'm staying away from that and just using the normal curbing, if I can call it like that. Then as you can see, just releasing the brake to find the rotation, getting close of the curbing, already on power because there is a sort of dip in the middle of this one, which actually helps you to go back on power and find the rotation on the exit. So going back on power. And from now, as you can see, it's really wide on the exit. So you can really open the steering early, and which helps basically you to go fully on power. And from now, it's fully on power, just making sure that I'm not going too wide. So basically you can stay in the limit with the left wheels, not going on the right side of the white line. And from now, I will say all the way on the right side, just to shorten the distance, using both curbs. And now we approach this chicane. So basically for this one, I'm just gonna brake. If you have like a triple monitor setup, it's pretty good because you can see the orange bit of the wide rail actually, which is the exit road pretty much. So basically, what I'm doing for this one is that I'm just gonna look at this. That's easier for me because if you have triple screen, you can see it. But if you don't have triple, it's pretty difficult. I don't know if there is something else you can look at, but if I'm looking at this, for example, at the time I'm braking, if you have single, it's tough to say. Maybe if you look at the end of the Dunlop board, it can be a thing. For me, a reference at the time you need to brake. So yeah, I would say that as soon as you get close of the end of the board, you can start to brake. For me, that's one of the reference you can use if you have single screen. But if you have triple and you can look at this part of the guardrail, then it's the point when you should brake. So basically, looking at the guardrail on the right side, going on the brake, EV braking zone, just going down the gears, and then just turning in. Need to release the brake now, finding the rotation. Then you can use or don't use the very inside of the corner. For me, sometimes it's getting too bouncy in my opinion, so you lose a lot of traction as well on this, because at that point you need to go back on power. So for me this time I decided to not use it because, yeah, like I said before, sometimes you can get it very bouncy on the sausage, orange sausage, sorry. So this time decided to not use it. As you can see, getting really close of the sausage, but not using it. And like I said, you are very only on power, so sometimes when you get over this curbing and you go back on power, it can be a bit sketchy on traction. So as you can see, very early on power, as soon as I'm on the apex, just trying to find the momentum again and get the rotation on throttle. So going back again on power early, and then make sure that you can stay a bit tight on the exit of this one, so then you have a really good exit for this left one of the chicane of bust up or whatever it's called. So as you can see, just staying with second, steering to the left, just trying to use all of the curbing on the inside, and then just trying to make sure I can straighten the wheel as soon as I can, so then I can go early on power, full on power, and get all of the traction on the exit. Using all of the track, using the sausage on this one, it's easy to do, so the car won't get on cyber or anything. Just make sure that you're not using too much, because if you go with your right wheels on the right side of the sausage, then you will get most likely you will get the off track. So then need to move on the left side of the track as soon as you went over the sausage, and as soon as you go on the left side of the track, go on the brake, dropping to second gear just to make sure you can get the car slow down enough, and also because with the second gear the I will get more power than third gear obviously, and I'm doing that because I need to find the rotation on power and not on the brake, because I need to carry the momentum to this one. If I stay on the brake, I will lose too much time to find the rotation, basically. See, if I stay on the brake to find a rotation, I will lose too much time. So that's why I'm putting second just before entering the corner, because I need to make sure that with second, slow down the car. With second, it will help me to go harder on the power because I will have more power basically. So then it will help me to find the rotation. For this one, just on the inside, using as much as I can of the track, but maybe not being too deep on the inside, because then you might need to open the steering at some point to maybe avoid the grass to not get the off track, which means that if you open the steering, you will be a bit sketchy. It will be sketchy on the exit of this one because it gets pretty tight, I would say, on the exit of this one. So that's why I prefer to keep a bit of a margin. So then also it helps. I can manage to carry a bit more speed on the exit, in my opinion. So as you can see with third gear, just trying to make sure that I can avoid the TC, even if you won't be able to avoid it completely, because if you want to avoid it completely, you're gonna have to be super smooth on the input, and most of the time, if you are too smooth, I would say that you're gonna lose time. So sometimes a bit of TC doesn't matter really much. You won't lose a lot of time by going into the TC. You have more chance to lose more time if you are too gentle on the power than if you lose the more power but having the TC. So then for the exit, just use all of the sausage, not more, because then you can get a sketchy car, I would say, with bounce and stuff. Yeah, and also just basically getting the off track as well. So yeah, just make sure you use quite a lot of them, but not too much, because then you're gonna get the off track. So yeah, just make sure you keep at least the two wheels in the middle, or maybe a bit more than the middle, but not the left wheels on the left side. Otherwise, it's gonna be an off track. And then you have to stay on the inside of this one, just leaving this very inside before the grass basically, and then you're gonna have to go a bit wide because you need to prepare the exit of this long left. So basically, just going on the brake, just not going too heavily on the brake, because obviously I need to avoid the ABS. If I go on the ABS, I will go straight, and that's what I need, because I need to find a lot of rotation actually on this one. and because it's going a bit off camber as well. So if you add like off camber corner to the ABS, then you are done and you're not gonna find the rotation and use and lose a lot of time. So as you can see, not going over 50% of brake. Then dropping to second, just making sure I'm a bit wider to make sure I can really work on my exit, using all of the track on the inside. And then as you can see, I'm really trying to straighten the wheel very early on the exit, so then I can make sure that I'm getting all of the traction. For the exit, I'm just avoiding the sausage. For me, it's not really a thing there. The best way is to avoid the sausage because most of the time it can give you damage on those ones, or also make the car a bit sketchy out on the exit and lose traction. So for me, just making sure that I'm avoiding the sausage. So basically for me, as you can see, I'm gonna use the right wheels on the right curbing, and that's it. And from now, as soon as you left this one, you need to move to the left side. So just to make sure that you're gonna work on the exit of the very last corner. That's the thing for this one. If you stay all the way on the inside, you will compromise a lot because then you have I think it's almost like 2 kilometers straight. So basically, if you compromise the exit of the last corner, you will lose loads of time. So that's why I'm going wide on the entry of this one. As you can see, starting to brake, I would say when you have that flag, it's actually the how to say, the light flag. So basically, when you have green flag, it's blinking green basically. So when this thing disappear, that's the point when I'm going on the brakes. Most of the time around this one, I'm doing it a bit by instinct, but it seems like when I'm getting past this virtual flag, I will call it like that. When I'm getting past this thing, going on the brake, same as before, not too much braking because then you're gonna go straight and lose the rotation. Dropping to second, then turning in, going early on power because as you can see it's going uphill, so you need to find the momentum, and also because if you stay all the way on the brake, you will first lose the momentum, and also because at that point you are going too slow to find really the rotation on the brake, in my opinion, on this one. So there you will get most of the rotation out of power. So then going on power, just making sure that you are not going too heavily on power because then you still have a huge steering angle, so you're gonna get the TC. Same, avoiding the sausage on this one, and then just trying to straighten the wheel, trying to find the traction, and then going fully on power. You can use the sausage on the exit of this one, it doesn't matter really much, but do not go too wide because then you will get the off track, and then you have that long straight, pulling through the gears, going to fifth at around 180, no, 92, sorry. That's the thing with the Porsche, you have to go really high on the revs until you can then put the another gear, and then for this one it's 220, I think it's 230, 31 or 32 for 6 gear. So yeah, that is it for the lap around Fuji with the Porsche 718 GT4. Okay guys, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned a bit from it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and join the Discord server if you have any question about the work we are making. And I see you for week 8. Bye bye.